folks? Welcome to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr. I'm Wilson Tarpey Jr. Look, the Wizards in Chicago earlier this afternoon. DeRozan, Levine lead the Bulls past the Wizards 102-82. Look, the Wizards were in it for most of the game. So whereas a little bit near the end of the third quarter, and then everything went left in the fourth. Cardell, I'm sure you're going to talk about the certain inflection point on where things may have went left. So we'll start with you and then go to Ray.
More of the same old. Turnovers, bad shot selection. And once the other team got momentum, there was nothing the Wizards could do about it because their defense a lot of times throughout this game and throughout the season is predicated off how they play offensively. And, you can't let that dictate how you play defense. You gotta stay with it even when you're not making shots, even when you're turning the ball over. And that wasn't it. Late in the third, like Wilson said, Wizards were down 70-67. Kyle Kuzma comes down, shoots a three, leads to a basket by Chicago, and next thing you know, the floodgates are open. From that point on, for the rest of the game, I think the Wizards scored from 67, they scored 15. They finished with 82, they scored 15 points, and the Bulls scored 32. Everything just went downhill from there, and that's the game. Just that point right there. Look, man, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's frustrating. The Wizards got to help themselves. You can't shoot 52% from the free throw line. You can't shoot 21% from deep. You can't shoot 42% overall from the field. But that's also a reflection of how bad you shot from deep. I would like to see how many twos they made, non-3-pointers that they made, like the shooting percentage for that. And I guarantee you it's probably close to 50%. So why not get to your mid-range? I know Bill was cooking for a stretch. That's why I don't understand why certain guys were coming down just hoisting threes and whatnot. It's really simple basketball, man. And the Wizards, once again, shoot themselves out of a W. They were right there. And then they just helped hand the Bulls momentum on a platter, help hand them baskets on a platter, and the Bulls said thank you. Then DeRozan got going. Then Levine got going. Then everybody else, Caruso, hitting threes. Kobe White got going. He's hitting threes. It's game over. The Wizards, for the most part, first half, they did a respectable job defensively. Held on 25 in the first, 22 in the second. Third and fourth quarter, they were knocking on 30 each quarter. See what I'm saying? And meanwhile, they come by a basket. So it don't take a rocket scientist to see how their shot selection, the turnovers, the mental mistakes and key moments, the lack of mental toughness when you make those mistakes to recover quickly and still stay in the game, stay engaged, stay within yourself, stay within the offense or whatever Unseld wants to be done. It doesn't take a rocket science to see that every time a team going to run late, they just fall apart. And it was more the same today, man. Look, we could talk about them not having Porzingis or whatnot, but it's happened when Porzingis was on the floor. So you can't even use that as an excuse. And the sad thing is a couple guys played well. Darrell Wright played well, 14 points. 14 points to 6 to 7 shooting. Bill, 7 to 17, 18. He was knocking on triple-double, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. They should have put the ball in his hands and let him go to work. Gafford was 7 to 9, 15 to 11. He was highly motivated. Why didn't you try to feed the beast? Draw more law players, get him more involved. Because at the very least, he's going to catch it and try to power back up. Then he's getting to the free throw line. He was 1 or 2. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And Kuzma and Kispert, 2 for 15 from deep. 2 for 15 just between them two. Look, man, it's hard to win when you're making these mental errors, having these mental lapses, and making these mistakes you should have been cleaned up, especially at this point in the time of the season. When we was going into All-Star break, we all sat here and said teams going to be in kill mode because they're fighting for playoff position and they're fighting to get in the playoffs. So every game is going to be hell, and you only got a few games to make it do what it do. Wizards came in after All-Star break with 23 games left. They lost the first 2. And this one was costly because the Bulls are knocking on the door or passing them for the 10th spot in the play-in spot. So now I believe with this loss and the Bulls win, and with a half a game up on the Bulls, So with Indiana and Orlando right there, they got to figure some things out, man. But it's more of the same what we've been talking about all year.
And right before I hand it off to you, I was going to tell you, Cardell, the number you're looking for twos, they were 26 of 48.
So they was knocking on 40%.
Yep.
I mean 50%, not 40%.
26 of 48. Yep. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not too much more to add. It's just the same script over and over again. Like I can confidently say that probably every loss has followed this blueprint. You know, yeah, man, they are who they are. And until any of that changes, then this is gonna be the norm. You know, they can't just depend on games where everything is going well to win, because those games are few and far between, man. You gotta find a way to, you know, to fight through adversity and you know, weather the storm, because, you know, teams are gonna go on runs. Sometimes you're just not gonna have it. And you got to find a way to navigate those situations without everything just going to hell. And you know, they obviously didn't do that tonight, because down the stretch they just faded completely. Like it's no way you could have told me at halftime that this would have been a 20-point loss. Like, because they like Ardell said, man, they were doing a respectable job defensively. You know, even with DeRozan and Levine kind of going to work, you know, they were right there. And it's not like the Wizards were shooting the lights out, you know. But yeah, just bad decisions at critical junctures, and the other team putting their foot on the gas and taking advantage. It just leads to losses like this. And yeah, man, they got to be professional at some point, and nip this stuff in the bud.
Yeah, like you said, I'm gonna keep going back to that point. Bad shots, they kill them. We've been harping on it all year, and it's always right. I think you said something during the first quarter. You get into the habit of just watching other teams' best players routinely get comfortable against the Wizards. At some point, don't you want other people to beat you? Like tonight, there was for a while there. What did DeRozan and them finish with? Give me 1 second, because I'm slow.
Isn't that 28 on 11-15?
22 or 33 combined. That's disgusting. And they took 4 threes. So you didn't even get them they didn't even bail you out you didn't have those bailout opportunities where it was just, oh, it was a bad shot because of a tough situation, what have you. Now they just got to where they wanted to go. Over and over and over again. Then DeMar gets to the line 8 times. Zach only gets there 3. They shoot as a team, they shoot 82 from the line. Like y'all said, you can't they hit for the cycle in all the wrong ways. From a shooting perspective. 42, 21, 52. But credit to the Bulls for locking up in the fourth and handling business. Again, I think the broadcasters mentioned what it meant in terms of what was on the line between the season series with these teams, how it affects the tiebreaker, what have you. I'm going to take a wild guess that maybe Washington's aware of that going into the game. We talked about coming out of All-Star break how important these games were. These are the things that can hurt you. These are the things that can end it. You couldn't afford to come out there. Like if you split, cool, like life goes on, but you can't afford losing streaks. However short that may be, this last 20 some odd games. So Carter, what'd you say last time? They were 22 games? They down to what, 21?
23, yeah, it's 21 after the night. I mean this afternoon, yeah.
You had 23 total. You already blew 2 chances. You down to 21. All right. Play the game. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Before you go on, so Kuz hit he hit a floater with 49 seconds left in the third. It was 70-67. Then Kobe White came back 11 seconds later, 38-second mark. and 72-67. Then Kobe White hits another jumper with 8 seconds left. And the lead goes from and that was after Kuzma hit missed the 3-pointer. So a possible 5-point lead went to a quick 7-point deficit. So my fault. 5-point deficit going into the fourth went to a 7-point deficit, and all hell broke loose in the fourth. And then that's when you get 28-15. But it started with that shot because that's when they were moving. They was rocking. Bill had it going. They was within striking distance. Now, how many times have we seen? Like, look, Kobe White hits a 14-foot shot. Before that, Kuzma hit a 9-foot shot. So why are you coming down just going to toss up a 26-footer? Those shots are always there to be taken. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. And this has plagued them all year. And that was the most damning one. That 3-pointer right there was the most damning. But, again, he shot 4 for 18. So that meant other pockets of the game, the same thing happened, but it didn't break everything. That one broke things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that broke it. Player of the game, folks.
DeRozan.
Right? DeRozan?
I wouldn't argue. I was toggling between going the co route with him and Levine, but I think DeRozan, what he did down the stretch kind of he really like put the exclamation points on it.
All right, go to X Factor. Several choices here.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go with Caruso, man. His defense was great. All the charges he took, defense 6, 4, and 3, and he only shot six shots. He was 2 of 6, but and all of them from 3-point range. Go figure. But 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He made Bill work like no other. He made those guards work like no other, man. And the charges he took, and honestly, he the reason Kuzma couldn't find the rhythm because he was getting Kuzma on a couple of charges, and that had Kuz thinking anytime. That's why Kuz was selling for some of these shots because he was scared to drive because he knew either him or Bev or somebody was lurking, waiting for him. And that's what good defense does. That's how you make the offense play the way you want them to play as a defender, man. And it all fell in the look, man. 4 of 18, he picked up 4 fouls, and he was 4 of 18. He played 38 minutes and 1 for 8 and some more Kuz. The team did an overall job, but Caruso was everywhere. And I think his defense just slowly, it's like a boxing match with somebody hitting the body. Sooner or later, the hands got to come down because your body's taking a beating, and then you deliver the knockout blow. And the knockout blow was DeRozan going off on the floor.
Right?
Yeah, man. Like the thing about a game like Caruso just had, like Cardell pointed out, the box score not going to jump out at you, but if you know what you're looking at, then what he did, man, it can't be quantified, his contribution because, like you said, man, taking those charges and things like that, then not giving Bill the opportunity to counter what DeRozan and Levine is doing, like that stuff adds up, man, and it's like those are the things where people that don't really value that type of stuff get lost. Like they'll look at his numbers and say he wasn't a contributor, but he was a vital part of this game.
And again, navigating, just refusing to be screened. He got in Washington's nerves. Him and Pat refused to. Washington already doesn't set the greatest screens, but those two just don't believe in getting screened. Like, you got them for a little bit. Like, you have to want to screen them as much as they don't want to be screened to get them out of a play. And we saw that time and time again. It just messed up Washington's flow on a regular basis. They just disrupted things. But we'll get to some of these comments. Blizzy Black said they're going to be losing like this, no playoffs or play-in tournament. Look, man, that's up to them. Like again, I think, I would feel some type of way if I'm less than a handful of games up from the team that had the number 1 overall pick in the standings. But, it is what it is, big threes and whatnot. Area 11T said they play with no heart or urgency. And Kyle Kuzma, ...
Kuz got to chill, man. Like he's literally, he might have cost them a lot of games with just his shot selection alone, man. Like those bad shots are killers, though. It's like damn, they look like he playing in summer league out there, though. Just I feel it's a good shot. I'm just gonna shoot it. It's like what the hell, like bro, you and they already not at a point where they can overcome that, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just he been in the league too long. He knows, and he's played enough basketball. He knows. You know what I mean? So I don't care what the analytics say. You could feel the vibe and the momentum during the game when you know, like, is this a good shot or is not a good shot? Or if you have it, 1 for 8, you don't have it, and you knew that a long time ago. You didn't have it. You can't shoot yourself out of slumps. It's not. It's just not a dog. Not in the league, man. Only a couple dudes can do that. Like that's Steph and like KD. But those type of performances don't happen too often. There's a reason for that. For him, it's often. All the more reason why he shouldn't try to shoot himself out those slumps, man. Try to get on the block. Try to get to the lane. I know Caruso down there shoot the 9-foot pull-up. You did that. You got to adjust. You know what I'm saying? So, but man, it is what it is. But yeah.
Yeah, like if there's like a term for X factor, but in a negative way, he's that sometimes. Like I don't know what you would call that, but
double agent X factor. There you go.
Yeah,
double agent.
Yeah,
double agent X factor. Goes both ways.
He just turns the tide in a negative way way too often, and he's too good for that, man. Like the games where he make it a point to get to the basket early, then everything else opens up. He gets some easy ones in the rim, and the basket gets big. But when he starts off just doing anything, then he just make it hard for himself.
And then he compounds it because defensively, you could be suspect. Fouling DeMar DeRozan on 3-point shot, and he don't even like shooting threes. Like silly stuff, swiping down, leaning over on defense instead of sitting down trying to move your feet, man. Like, teams are attacking him. They starting to figure out we attack him. That takes away from his offense because 1, he gonna get tired. 2, he knows he's being cooked, so he gonna be trying to get back. He did it against New York with Julius Randle was hitting on. He tried to get back, and then becomes a pride battle, but you take away from the team. So the teams are starting to figure that out. So they like just go at him, get a couple buckets, and he'll take himself out the game. It's on him at this point.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Like for sure, he's very talented. He has a lot of tools, but not knowing what you do well and staying within the realm of it, dog, is damning. And we've seen it hurt him time and time again. And he's gonna have to figure that out. Otherwise, he's gonna stay in that same spot that he's been in. But at some point, when you stay in that spot where it's kind of like, oh man, potentially they could be, as the age keeps creeping up, that you run out of that after a little bit. Then it's just you are what you are, and that is, we'll see what Washington ends up doing or another team ends up doing, but. It's just far too often too easy for him to be taken out of his game. Way too easy. And again, you're 6'10" or what have you. When you get in trouble, but there's a wealth of shots that you should be able to take. 3 shouldn't be the first thing you go to. It just like I think Cardell one of the times Caruso got him on the charge. Like he dribbled, it was 3 dribbles into the charge. You could have took a pull-up jumper, I think, like you said, with any one of those 3 dribbles. We see you take them jumpers on other nights that you have it going. I'm not going to get mad at you if you're trying to find it and you take that pull-up mid-range jumper. I'm cool. That nasty 3 that turns into a 7-0 run, can't. Yeah, but DeLon has been on one recently. Yeah, he's been outstanding offensively shooting the ball over the last couple games. Biggie Steve with I guess we're waiting for the draft. Already? Still some time left. You got to get there already.
He's 16. He's 16 for 25 in his last 3 games, DeLon Wright. He should get more shots.
But we out here trying to get it going after.
But also, you can look at West a little bit for that, dog. Once you miss like 2 or 3 in a row, you still come sit next to me for a while.
Mhm.
Gotta take you out. DeLon, get back in there, baby.
That 4 for 18 is just disgusting to look at.
And I'm like, y'all waiting for the draft. That's a whole nother conversation. Because where they at right now, they gonna be in the middle of the pack, right outside the line.
You're right outside of getting something that could really change something.
What's the last draft pick that hit for them? Bill.
That was a top 5 pick, right?
Yeah, I think he was 30.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough.
The rookie this year ain't even, you see what I'm saying? Like, he ain't even get reps. So it's they need to play to win, bro. Because that don't guarantee nothing.
Yep. They gotta see this one to the end. This is the group that you chose. You gotta ride them out to the end. It is what it is.
Like, I'm not even with that losing stuff because that don't guarantee nothing anyway. And then unless you get like that Wembanyama kid or something like that, it ain't even worth it. Somebody you know for sure, this franchise possible, it's not worth it. And besides, they have no time to be better than what they are, man. It's on them. So we'll see what they do the last 4 games.
Like you said again, their first round pick isn't playing this year because it's a veteran laden roster. There's no excuses for any of this. There's none. Like the kids that do play have played in the league already. They got there's no excuse for this. This is in Orlando, who you're 3 games above, that's gonna bother me for a couple weeks. Area 11T said in Terrence Shannon we trust. But look, we will see y'all soon. They have a very busy schedule this month. So we'll be talking to y'all quite a bit. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. And again, we'll see y'all later this week.